Okay, this is the listening test from IELTS book number 10, test number 1. As you know, I never listen to these listenings before I do these feedback sessions. The idea behind that is that I have a similar experience to you when you're doing the test, so I will hear the same problems that you hear, and we'll try our best to get the best mark possible working together on this. So follow carefully, and let's see if we can get a 9.
Cambridge English, IELTS 10, published by Cambridge University Press and Cambridge English Language Assessment, 2015. This recording is copyright. CD 1. Test 1. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only.
Very important, once only.
The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet.
So don't worry about writing on the actual
Now
question
turn to
paper.
Section 1.
Right, Section 1.
Section 1. You will hear a telephone conversation between a travel agent and a customer. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
Okay, so from 1 to 6, that's down to the bottom of the page. It's very important to listen carefully to what they say at the beginning, so you know that it's between a customer and a self-drive tours in the USA, so this tour agency. Okay, so what we're going to look for here is an address, so we're looking for a strange name. It'll probably be spelt. Usually they spell these out for you, so listen carefully. Heard about a company from the internet. You can start guessing what the questions might be, the answers might be. The customer wants to visit some...
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you.
Now they're going
On
to talk
this
about...
occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
This is just an example. You should know how this works, so do not waste your time looking at the example.
World
Carry on
Tours.
down here.
My name is Jamie. How can I help you?
Wants to visit some...
Good morning. I want some information on
parks?
self-drive tours in the USA. Could you send me a brochure?
Of course. Could I have your name, please?
Andrea Brown.
The customer's name is Andrea Brown, so
Okay,
Brown,
so Brown is put there
has
in the
been
answer.
written in the
So
space.
not, wants to send a large not
Now
a
we shall
hotel,
begin.
perhaps?
You
Wants
should
to
answer the
see
questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time.
Okay, very important. So want to see the...
Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 6.
Some tourist thing, and wants to spend time on the... We don't know yet.
Good
Let's have a
morning.
look.
World Tours. My name is Jamie. How can I help you?
Good morning. I want some information on self-drive tours in the USA. Could you send me a brochure?
Of course. Could I have your name, please?
Andrea Brown,
Thank you. And your address?
24 Ardley Road.
Can you spell that?
Ardleigh Road.
Postcode?
BH5 2OP.
Okay,
Thanks. And can I have your phone number?
Is a mobile all right?
Fine.
that should be fine.
It's 07786 643 091.
Notice I put
Thank you.
okay, so we know,
And
or
can I
ticket.
ask you where you heard about World Tours? From a friend, or did you see an advert somewhere?
No, I read about you in the newspaper.
Okay, I'll get the brochures in the post to you, but can I
Okay.
give you some information over the phone? What kinds of things do you want to do on your holiday?
I'm interested in going to California with my family. I've got 2 children, and we want to hire a car.
Okay, we have a couple of self-drive tours there, visiting different places of interest in California. The first one begins in Los Angeles, and there's plenty of time to visit some of the theme parks there.
That's something on my children's list, so I'd want to include that.
Good.
Good. Then you drive to San Francisco. From San Francisco, you can drive to Yosemite Park, where you spend a couple of
Yosemite.
nights. You can choose to stay in a lodge or on the campsite.
I don't like the idea of staying in a tent.
So not
It'd be
in
too
a
hot.
tent.
Right. And the tour ends in Las Vegas.
OK.
The other trip we can arrange is slightly different. It starts in San Francisco, then you drive south to Cambria.
Someone told me there's a really nice castle near Cambria. Will we go near that?
Hurst Castle is on that road, so you could stop there.
Good. I'd like to do that. Does this trip also go into the desert?
No, it continues to Santa Monica, where most people like to stop and do some shopping.
We have enough of that at home, so
Not
that doesn't interest
interested.
us.
Okay. Well, you could go straight on to San Diego.
That's good for beaches, isn't it?
That's right. That's a good place to relax, and your children might like to visit the zoo before flying home.
Spend time
No, I don't
on
think so. We want some time for sunbathing and swimming.
beach. So spend time on the beach. Okay, now I'll
Before
look
you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10.
Okay, so this last one here. So this is about a number here. This is a car and one. Can you guess what that might be? One sat-nav, perhaps. Trip 2, a price. We're looking for a number here, and accommodation car, and we can't really guess what this might be. So let's listen carefully.
Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
So, how many days are the trips, and how much do they cost?
The first one I told you about is a self-drive tour through California, which lasts 12 days and covers 2,020 kilometers. The shortest journey is 206 kilometers, and the longest is 632 kilometers. The cost is £525 per person.
Okay.
That includes accommodation, car rental, and a flight, but no meals.
Okay. And the other trip?
Right.
That lasts 9 days, but you spend only 3 days on the road. You cover about 980 kilometres altogether.
So is that cheaper then?
Yes, it's almost £100 cheaper. It's £429 per person, which is a good deal.
So that covers accommodation and car hire. What about flights?
They aren't included, but these hotels offer dinner in the price.
Dinner.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'll be in touch when I've had a chance to look at the brochure.
I'm pleased to help. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, that's done. Let's go now. Don't waste time looking anywhere else.
That is the end of section 1.
Okay, section
You
2.
now have half a minute to check your answers.
If you want to check your answers, just to go back here, why I didn't put a campsite is because in. We don't say in a campsite, we might say on a campsite, but in for a tent. Okay, let's not waste time here. So which 2 facilities in the leisure club have recently been improved? Okay, so the key word here is improved, and the other word is recently in the leisure club. So gym, tracks, indoor pool, outdoor pool, and sports training for children.
Now turn to section 2. Section 2. You will hear a fitness manager of a leisure club talking to some new members. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 and 12.
And 12. So let's look at 12 as well now. So, sorry, 11 and 12, this is included here. But don't waste time there, because we can go down to joining the leisure
Now
club.
listen and answer questions 11 and 12.
On behalf of LP Clubs, I'd like to welcome you all here today. My name's Sandy Fisher, and I'm one of the fitness managers here. Before we start our tour of the club, I'll just run through some basic information about the facilities we have here, including recent improvements, and explain the types of membership available.
So recent improvements.
Our greatest asset is probably our swimming pool, which at 25 metres isn't Olympic-sized, but now we've expanded it to 8 lanes, it's much wider. This means there are rarely more than a couple of people at a time in each lane. Unfortunately, there isn't space for an outdoor pool here,
Okay, so
but the
yes.
glass roof on the swimming pool is partly retractable, which means you can enjoy something of the open-air experience on warmer days.
Okay, so they don't have
Our
space for an
recently
outdoor.
refurbished fitness suite has all the latest exercise equipment, including 10 new running machines and a wide range of weight training machines.
Not mentioned here.
Each member is given full training in how to operate the equipment, and there is always a trainer on duty to offer help and advice. Although we do have adult-only times after 6 and at certain times at weekends, children are well catered for. Older children continue to benefit from a wide range of tuition, anything from trampolining to yoga.
Okay, I must admit I
Before
missed
you
that
hear
one.
the rest of the talk,
I didn't hear
you'll
the
have
second
some
one.
time to look at questions 13 to 20.
Don't waste time worrying about that. Let's go straight. So new members should describe any. This is about injuries, previous injuries probably. There's something will be explained to you before you use the equipment. So the safety regulations perhaps. You will be given a 6-week training plan, something like that. Types of management, there's a compulsory £90 non-refundable fee perhaps. Gold members are given access to all the LP clubs perhaps. Premium members are given priority during busy hours perhaps. Premium members can bring some friends, family members.
Now listen and
Members
answer
take their
questions 13 to 20.
something membership card perhaps.
One thing all our members appreciate about us is that we take very good care of them. This starts on day 1 with your personal assessment. You are asked to fill in a questionnaire giving details of any health problems. One of our personal trainers will then go through this with you. The trainer will then take you through the safety rules for using the equipment in the fitness suite.
Rules.
During your next exercise session, a personal trainer will work with you to make sure you understand these. It's very important to do this because we really do want to avoid having any sports injuries. There's a lot more to looking after yourself than simply lifting weights. At the end of the personal assessment, the trainer will draw up a plan outlining what you should try to achieve within a 6-week period.
Okay.
This will then be reviewed at the end of the 6 weeks. Now, I'll just quickly run through the types of membership we have available. All members must pay a joining fee of £90 in addition to the rates for the monthly membership fees. Gold membership entitles you to free entry at all LP clubs.
Free.
There are now LP clubs in all major cities and towns, so if you travel a lot, this will be a great advantage. Individual gold membership costs £50 a month, and joint membership for you and your partner will cost £75. Premium membership is for professional people whose work commitments make it difficult for them to use the club during the day, and so LP gives booking preferences to Premier members at peak times. This means you'll find it easier to book the sessions at times that suit you. Reciprocal arrangements with other LP clubs are available to Premier members.
Not sure that one.
Premier membership is for individuals only, but you'll be sent passes for guests every month. The monthly fee is £65. You don't have to have any special clothes or equipment when you visit the club. We provide robes and hair dryers in the changing rooms, but it's very important to remember your photo card, because you won't be able to get in without it.
Card.
For people who aren't working during the day.
Okay, that's fine. So we missed this one about peak times. I didn't quite get that.
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, well, there's not much. I don't know how you can check your answers except for spelling, because you can't listen to it again. So just check your spelling, but I would go straight through to this one now. Global design competition. Students entering the competition have to... Okay, now these are called distractors, and only one of them is correct. So what I would like you to do is ignore the A, B, and C, but only very, very carefully focus on the question itself. So entering the competition have to. So they are obliged to. John
Now
chose
turn
a
to section 3.
He wanted to make dishwashers. Okay. Make them
Section
more
3.
efficient or something. Stone.
You will hear a student called John talking to a professor about a design competition he is entering. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25.
And the the end of the cleaning process, the carbon dioxide. So end of the cleaning process, the carbon dioxide. So listen for that. Okay, students entering the carbon dioxide have to... Okay, let's just go down here quickly. John needs help preparing for his... to make make something of his design. Main problem is getting good quality.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Okay.
Hello, Professor. I'm John Wishart. I'm working on my entry for the Global Design Competition. My tutor said you might be able to help me with it.
Ah, yes, I got a copy of your drawings. Come in and tell me about it. What sort of competition is it?
Well, it's an international design competition, and we have to come up with a new design for a typical domestic kitchen appliance.
I see.
So
and
new
are there any
design,
special conditions?
typical.
Does it
So-
have to save energy, for example?
Yes.
Actually, that was the focus in last year's competition. This year's different. We have to adopt an innovative approach to existing technology, using it in a way that hasn't been thought
Okay,
of
not
before.
that one there.
I see. That
So it's
sounds
this one
tricky.
here.
And what kitchen appliance have you chosen?
Well, I decided to choose the dishwasher.
Interesting.
Okay.
What made you choose that?
Well, they're an everyday kitchen appliance in most Australian houses, but they're all pretty boring and almost identical to each other.
Boring.
I think some people will be prepared to pay a little extra for something that looks different.
That's a nice
So
idea.
appealing, all right.
I see you've called your design the rock pool. Why is that?
Basically because it looks like the rock pools you find on a beach. The top is made of glass so that you can look down into it.
And there's a stone at the bottom. Is that just for decoration?
Actually, it does have a function. Instead
What's
of
that
pushing
function?
a button, you turn the stone.
So it's really just a novel way of starting the dishwasher.
That's right.
Starting.
It's a really nice design. But what makes it innovative?
Well, I decided to make a dishwasher that uses carbon dioxide.
In place of water and detergent? How will you manage that?
The idea is to pressurise the carbon dioxide so that it becomes a liquid. The fluid is then released into the dishwasher where it cleans the dishes all by itself.
Sounds like a brilliant idea. Your system will totally do away with the need for strong detergents. So what happens once the dishes are clean?
Well, to allow them to dry, the liquid carbon dioxide and the waste materials all go to an area called the holding chamber. That's where the liquid is depressurised and so it reverts to a gas.
Okay, reverts
Then
to
the
a
oil
gas.
and grease are separated out and sent to the waste system.
It sounds like you've thought it all out very thoroughly. So what happens to the carbon dioxide once the process is complete? Not wasted, I hope.
Actually, that's where the real savings are made. The carbon dioxide is sent back to the cylinder and can be used again and again.
What a
To be
terrific
reused.
idea. Do you think it will ever be built?
Probably not, but that's okay.
Well, I'm sure a lot of positive things
I
will
think
come out
that's
of
it.
your design.
He's still preparing for his.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30.
Okay, main problem is getting good quality carbon dioxide. Now we know what it's about. Professor suggests apply for a grant. That's like a special amount of money from a university or a government, which you don't have to pay back. And the professor will check the information in John's written report. Okay, I'm not really sure. Make a patent? Do you know this word?
Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Now, you seem to have thought about everything, so what exactly did you need me to help you with?
Well, my design has made it to the final stage of the competition, and in a few months' time I have to give a presentation, and
So
that's the part I was
preparing for his
hoping you could help me with.
Presentation.
Right, well, that should be easy enough. What have you managed to do so far?
Well, I've got detailed drawings to show how it will work, and I've also written a 500-word paper on it.
I see. Well, if you want to stand a good chance of winning, you really need a model of the machine.
So make a
Yes, I
model of
thought
it.
I might, but I'm having a few problems.
What's the main difficulty so far? Let me guess. Is it the materials?
Yes,
Maybe it's
I
getting
want
good
it to look
quality.
professional, but everything that's top quality is also very expensive.
Look, projects like this are very important to us. They really help lift our profile. So why don't you talk to the university about a grant?
Grant,
I can help
thought
you
so.
fill out the application forms if you like.
Oh, that would be great.
You'd better show me this paper you've written as well. For a global competition such as this, you need to make sure the technical details you've given are accurate and thorough.
Oh, that would be a great help.
Is there anything else I can do?
Well, I'm really nervous.
Okay, so technical, they didn't say information, technical details, but that's
That is
close
the
enough.
end of section 3.
Okay, now let's have a look
You
at this
now
one.
have half a minute to check your answers.
Check it if you think there's a spelling mistake, but otherwise go straight on. Right, it's a type of bear called the spirit bear, belong to the black bear family. It's white, colour comes from an uncommon genetic problem, perhaps. Local people believe that it has unusual powers. They protect the bear from hunters, perhaps. The bear's relationship with the forest is complex. Tree roots stop along salmon streams. Stop water flowing, perhaps.
Now turn to section 4.
Okay. Right, it's currently found in a small number of forests.
Section
areas.
4. You
Small
will hear
number
a
of-
university lecture about an endangered bear in British Columbia, Canada, known as the spirit bear. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
So down to the bottom, that's the end of the test. So habitat is being lost due to deforestation and construction of dams. Okay, by logging companies, I'm not sure exactly. Unrestricted hunting is affecting the salmon supply. The bear's existence is also threatened by the low rate of birth. Interesting. Logging companies must improve their something of logging. Maintenance and what could that be? Can't remember the word. Refurbishment is for a house. Reconstruction, no, that's for a building. I can't remember. Anyway, let's get ready.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Today, we continue our series on ecology and conservation with a look at a particularly endangered member of the black bear family. 1 in 10 black bears is actually born with a white coat, which is the result of a special gene that surfaces in a few. Local people have named it the spirit bear, and according to the legends of these communities, its snowy fur brings with it a special power. Because of this, it has always been highly regarded by them, so much that they do not speak of seeing it to anyone else. It is their way of protecting it when strangers visit the area. The white bear's habitat is quite interesting. The bear's strong relationship with the old-growth rainforest is a complex one. The white bear relies on the huge, centuries-old trees in the forest in many ways. For example, the old-growth trees have extremely long roots that help prevent erosion of the soil along the banks of the many fish streams. Keeping these banks intact is important because these streams are home to salmon, which are the bear's main food source. In return, the bear's feeding habits nurture the forest. As the bears eat the salmon, they discard the skin and bones in great amounts on the forest floor, which provide vital nutrients. These produce lush vegetation that sustains thousands of other types of life forms, from birds to insects and more. Today, the spirit bear lives off the coast of the province of British Columbia on a few islands. There is great concern for their survival, since it is estimated that less than 200 of these white bears remain. The best way to protect them is to make every effort to preserve the delicate balance of their forest environment. In other words, their ecosystem. The greatest threat to the bear's existence is the loss of its habitat. Over many years, logging companies have stripped the land by cutting down a large number of trees.
Deforestation.
In addition, they have built roads which have fractured the areas where the bear usually feeds, and many hibernation sites have also been lost. The logging of the trees along the streams has damaged the places where the bears fish. To make matters worse, the number of salmon in those streams is declining because there is no legal limit on fishing at the moment. All these influences have a negative impact on the spirit bear's very existence, which is made all the more fragile by the fact that reproduction among these bears has always been disappointingly low. And so, what's the situation going forward? Community organizations, environmental groups, and the British Columbia government are now working together on the problem. The government is now requiring logging companies to adopt a better logging method, which is a positive step. However, these measures alone may not be sufficient to ensure a healthy population of the spirit bear in the future. Other steps also need to be taken. While it is important to maintain the spirit bear's habitat, there also needs to be more emphasis on its expansion. The move is justified as it will also create space for other bears that are losing their homes.
Okay, I think that's it. So with the exception of those two errors that we...
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
In fact, you've got 10 minutes and a half, because now you've got 10 minutes to transfer your answers over. So you can really check your spelling. And that is why I don't think it's a good idea to use that half a minute unless you've got something that you can't quite remember. Because if you're checking your spelling, you've got 10 minutes to check your spelling later on. Always better, I think, to go to the next section. Okay, so here we've got this busy in peak times. That's the one
that is the end of the listening test. In the IELTS test, you would now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet.
Okay, so here are the answers on the right hand side. We'll just go through them, and anything that we missed, like for example questions 11 and 12, we'll just listen again and see if we can find them. So the first one is oddly, which is correct. Then the next one is newspaper, which is correct. Then we've got theme and tent is correct. Notice they're checking your grammar to see if you wrote campsite. You say on a campsite, but you stay in a tent. The next word is castle, which is correct. Beach or beaches would be correct. Then you've got 2020, which is fine. And then one flight, 429, and then the word dinner is correct. So let's just check here. We should have C, which is correct, and then A. So let's just listen. Sorry. Where's 11? C and A. That's lucky. I was looking at 21 and 22. But A and C, C and A would be correct here. So let's just check why I missed that one.
On behalf of LP Clubs, I'd like to welcome you all here today. My name's Sandy Fisher, and I'm one of the fitness managers here. Before we start our tour of the club, I'll just run through some basic information about the facilities we have here, including recent improvements, and explain the types of membership available. Our greatest asset is probably our swimming pool, which at 25 metres isn't Olympic-sized, but now we've expanded it to 8 lanes, it's much wider.
So wider.
This means there are rarely more than a couple of people at a time in each lane. Unfortunately, there isn't space for an outdoor pool here,
no space.
but the glass roof on the swimming pool is partly retractable, which means you can enjoy something of the open-air experience on warmer days. Our recently refurbished fitness suite has all the
Fitness suite.
latest exercise equipment, including 10 new running machines
Okay,
and
so
a
they
wide
said
range of weight training machines.
So, fitness suite is supposed to be called a gym. Okay, it's a little bit unfair. But they do mention the most common things that you would find in a gym. So weight training machines and what did she say? Let's check. New running machines, weight training machines. So be aware, it's not always the word that they use. It could be a synonym. So fitness suite is another word for gym. So I got caught out on that one. Okay, let's check the rest of the answers here then. So we're going on to question 13, which is health problems. That's correct. And safety rules. That's correct. Plan. A joining fee. Free entry is correct. Peak hours. Peak time. Busy hours. Okay. Peak hours. Okay, I've got the Sketch Engine, which is a collocations website, and that shows you words that commonly come with the noun peak, but also the adjective peak. So let's have a look at that one. So the peak as an adjective, and you can see here we've got peak intensity, gust, but we do have hour, so that is a collocation. So peak hours, even though they said she said peak times, and again it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly what they say. So incorrect. So good, let's carry on then. So 19 is guests, and then we've got photocard or photocards. Notice two words in this case, however that is changing slowly. You might find the word photocard as a single word, but they've got two words here, so that would be acceptable. If you do have a only one, if you have it as one word, you might not get the point. I'm not sure how they would mark that, to be honest, because I have seen it before as a single word. Okay, 21 is C, which we got, yes, and then 22 is A, good. 23 is B, 24 is A, and 25 is C. And then going down here we've got presentation, model, materials or material, grant, and then technical, which is all correct. And then we've got gene, power or powers, strangers, erosion, yes, islands, roads, fishing, reproduction, method, and then expansion. So far, not too bad. That's 38 out of 40. So that's 38 out of 40. That's 1 point per answer. So 2 mistakes means 40 minus 2. So on examenglish.com they've got an IELTS band score calculator. Now this is usually accurate, but it can slightly change the overall result of your test. But usually this is accurate. So if I got 38, you can see that I got 8.5 out of 9. So I'm a native speaker, I'm a teacher in fact, and you can see that even I can't get sometimes 9. If you can see here, if you make one mistake, that gives you a 9. So you can only need to make you only need to make 2 mistakes before it drops you down by a half point. But still, 8.5 out of 9 will get you into any medical school in the UK or the USA, at least for your English level. Okay, so I hope that's useful, and let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.